It's our power rankings, baby. Top 10 offseason contenders. Let's go, Kwab. Let's go.
It's our very early power rankings.
Pow, pow, pow,
Very
pow.
early power rankings.
Very early. Very early power rankings. Contenders. You know, who we think contenders are going into the 2025-2026 NBA season. Subscribe. And tell us where we went wrong, baby.
Yeah, feel free to comment to tell us why. Well, yeah, tell us why we're out of our minds and why we're wrong.
Yeah, this is one of our favorite segments we did last year, where we got a lot of engagement and interaction, so we definitely want more of that. Kwab, let's get started. Coming in at number 10, it's the Orlando Magic. Your Orlando Magic. You love these guys. You loved them all last year. They come in at number 10, one of 3 Eastern Conference teams, which shows you where this is going.
You can't give out the sauce before.
All right, a little bit of the sauce. You see a little bit of the sauce. The Magic, they acquired Desmond Bane via trade. You get rid of Cole Anthony, but Jalen Suggs is coming back. Paolo another year, he's better. Franz is probably going to be better. I like the Magic a lot. Very good defensive team for sure. The question is always, can they score enough points? Will they address a little bit of that issue, the shooting issue they had? Bringing in Desmond Bane. KCP is on his way out. He struggled shooting the ball last year. So you think the Magic are going to be better going into next year. No Halliburton, no Tatum. Dame is now on the Blazers. The Bucks don't really look the same. It's a year where the Magic, we said this before, could be 1, 2, or 3 seed in the East.
So yeah, it's a strong possibility. I like the Magic. I like their young core. You have Paolo, who's gonna keep getting better. You have Wagner, the Wagner brothers, actually, both of them bring different things, but Franz has been basically a borderline all-star in the East, and like you said, they have a chance of cracking that top 3 just because the East feels so weak this year. Granted, it could be different when games start, but just we name all the people that are out and all these teams that usually would be at the top of the Eastern rankings, they're not going to be. So the Magic with how the moves they've made, like you said, making that trade for Bane, which addresses one of their main problems, which is shooting.
Yeah.
So it could be a great year for them. They still have good young players like with Anthony Black.
Love Anthony Black.
We're
First
both
team dimes,
fans
I
of.
fucks with you. Yep.
Yes. So I mean, if they stay healthy, that's the one thing with the Magic. Last year, they just kept getting a bunch of injuries that kind of derailed them. But if you have a healthy Jalen Suggs, you get Desmond Bane, Paolo, Franz, that's a tough team. So yeah, we have them at number 10.
Yeah, that's an annoyingly tough team. That's a team where it's if you knock them out in the playoffs, it's going to be 6-7 games, and at the end of it, you're walking home like Peter Griffin in the chicken fights.
Yeah. It's a war. It's going to be a war.
Yes. That's really what it is. I don't think they have reached their peak yet. I think this is obviously a young team that is growing together, and I think there are better days ahead of them, but I think this is probably the first year where they enter the conversation of, can they win the East? And I do think this is the conversation that they're going to be in for the next few years, as long as Paolo stays healthy, as long as Franz stays healthy, if Jalen continues to grow his game. I do think going forward, the Orlando Magic seem to be the team of the future in the Eastern Conference. The Cavs, the Knicks, they seem like the teams of right now, but when you look ahead to their future, it's okay. Their best stars are in their 30s, it doesn't seem to really be too much room. Maybe the Cavs with Evan Mobley, we'll see. But to me, the Magic are that young team. I wouldn't say similar to OKC because I don't think they're as good as OKC, but if you're looking for a team in the Eastern Conference that can represent the East for the next 5 to 10 years, I think the Magic probably will be, your number one option, depending on how the Celtics handle Jason Tatum and all that going forward.
Yeah. And disclaimer, there were other teams that we were vying for the 10th spot, and we did have a lot of back and forth about it. You guys won't get that part. That's pre-production.
Yeah.
So number 10 for the Magic.
All right, coming in at number 9, it's the Golden State Warriors. They did absolutely nothing this offseason. But listen, I don't want to say they would have beat the Wolves in the Western Conference semifinals, but we don't know what would have happened. They won game 1.
Yeah.
If Curry stays healthy, maybe this team's in the Western Conference finals. Maybe we have a different perspective about what their ceiling is. You bring back Jimmy Butler, you bring back Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler comes over in a trade last year. They get better. To me, they got to figure this Kuminga thing out.
Yes.
We're recording this before anything happens with Jonathan Kuminga. We don't know if he's going to sign a qualifying offer. We don't know if there's going to be a sign-in trade. The roster could look totally different than what we're saying right now, but they have to figure out what they want to do with Jonathan Kuminga. I'm of the belief that, they mismanaged him completely. I understand that there were some things that were frustrating about him, to be fair to Steve Kerr and company, but I also think he was too good of a talent to kind of just bench and toy with the way that he was toyed. That's just my opinion. But this is a team going into next year, good defensively, very good, great defensively when he traded for Jimmy Butler. I do think they need another piece. Kevon Looney's gone. I think Al Horford would be a fantastic addition to this team. Still no sign of that yet. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if they add anybody. See if they add anybody at the deadline. But this team has a lot of potential. If you have Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry on your team, I do think that you have a high ceiling.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why they're there, just because they have Curry, and we always say if you have Curry, you have a chance. Like we always say, he's the greatest show when he's hot. Like when he has it going, it's like the greatest show. When you add Jimmy Butler, we all know what he's capable of doing when he plays like he cares.
Yeah.
So that's who they are right now with that, and Draymond Green. It's just like you said, the Kuminga situation is become like the looming issue right now. If it feels like they want to keep him, but at the same time, it feels like he doesn't want to be there.
He doesn't want to be there at all.
Yeah, like it is what it is. Like,
why would you want to be there? You have a coach who doesn't believe in you. I wouldn't want to be there.
Yeah, it makes it hard, and especially how when you could tell he believes that he's like an all-star caliber level player, so he just might want an opportunity somewhere else. So whenever they figure out what you're doing with that, and I guess whatever, if they end up keeping him, or he signs a qualifying offer, or maybe they get more pieces back, that's still a tough team in the West just because of the stars they have on that roster. So it will be interesting to see how they look like when the season starts.
All right, coming in at number 8, it's the Los Angeles Lakers. This is the team going back to last year. If you watched our show, one day we're high on them, the next day we're low. Couldn't really figure them out. I think 8 is good here. I think they're a better team than they were last year. You do lose DFS, which I think is an important piece because he's somebody who can guard the perimeter, and now you kind of have to rely on like LeBron and, kind of a mixture. I guess Vando too, but I don't think Vando's going to be in closing lineups. But I do think they got better. You get DeAndre Ayton, who is, when he's right, a top-tier big man in the league. When I say top tier, I mean top 10, top 15. I do think Jake LaRavia is like a nice little Swiss Army knife to bring off the bench. And they also obtained
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart. That's right, Marcus Smart. Who I don't know if he's going to start or not. I don't know how they're going to work that out. I don't think he is, but I think just one of those players who's a winning player. I know that sounds very cliche, but he's somebody who I wanted the Knicks to go after. He's somebody who can defend a perimeter. You lose DFS, and I get Marcus Smart, someone who's not afraid to shoot the 3 ball. I think adds a little bit more dynamics to that team, a little more flexibility. My issue with the Lakers is they're kind of old and not athletic. So it's going to be kind of hard for me to believe that they could actually go all the way. But again, like we said about the Warriors, you got LeBron and Luka. You got a shot.
You got a shot. That's what it is. That's what I was going to say. You got LeBron and Luka. You got a shot. We've had the looming rumors about LeBron all like off season about does he want to get traded, blah, blah, blah. We feel like he's going to end up on the team when the season starts.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at that lineup, whatever that lineup is, but if you have Luka, LeBron, probably Reeves, and Ayton. I don't know what happens with the other spot. Maybe it's Vando, maybe it's Marcus Smart, maybe it's Rui, whatever it is. They figure that out. It's going to be interesting. Then, like, you have 2 of the best dynamic players in the league in terms of being able to create for other people and get your own shot in Luka and LeBron. It's just the whole team comes with a lot of question marks. It's like if DeAndre Ayton plays motivated,
right?
If LeBron doesn't look 45 or whatever,
if Marcus Smart is healthy,
if Marcus Smart is healthy, I mean, if Luka stays in shape the whole year, but hey, you have a shot. It's the Lakers, so it will be a great year for them.
All right, coming in at number 7, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, lost in the Western Conference Finals last year, the OKC Thunder. I'm not sure how much of this is kind of respect to the fact that they made the Western Conference Finals. I'm not sure how, if I would have them at 7th if it wasn't for that. They lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker, which I think is bigger than most people realize. I thought he had a really good postseason, but I guess you have Terrence Shannon ready to fill into that role. Um, Anthony Edwards, another year in the league. I think always going to threaten to be an MVP candidate for as long as he's in his prime. You re-sign Naz Reid. You extend Julius Randle. It seems like they got their ish together with Julius Randle when he came back from injury. He had good moments in the playoffs. He had bad moments in the playoffs, but I do think, they did gel at the end, and then going into next year, it's okay. Now we can run this back. Now we're familiar with each other. There's no learning curve anymore. It's like we know what we are. Let's go for it. So I like the Wolves, man. If they can just keep that defensive identity that they had like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
with Rudy Gobert as the anchor, I think they could be dangerous.
Yeah, like it's a big loss with Nickel, but like you said, Terrence Shannon had a great postseason. Like
Yeah.
he had some moments too. So clearly they feel like he can step up in that role for them. So you're hoping they get contributions from him and maybe some consistent contributions from Rob Dillingham finally. So we'll see. I think the one thing you mentioned, which I completely agree with, was them kind of finding your stride when after Julius Randle got healthy. That also coincides with like when Dante got healthy. I think
Yeah.
when the team finally got healthy, we kind of saw like what they wanted to look like in terms of defensively. I feel like Dante should have a better year than he did last year in terms of shooting,
Yeah.
which is also going to help them. Um,
They need to adjust the point guard position to me. I think
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
biggest thing.
that's a issue. That's an issue.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully, I think they a, a point last year they were basically running Dante and as like kind of like
Conley.
sub combo
Yeah.
point guards. Kind of worked, kind of didn't, but we'll see how that goes. They drafted a Rudy Gobert clone to back
Yes.
up
Who
Rudy
who did
Gobert.
really well in the summer league.
Yeah, who did
Yeah.
really so they have like their front line kind of shored out with that. So we'll see how they look, but I they're gonna be a tough team, and they're gonna be a tough team in the West, especially if Ant just keeps progressing as he's progressed. Like everybody made the complaint last year, like he's shooting too many threes, but he shot a very high percentage,
Yeah.
and he made a lot of them, and it worked out for them. So we'll see what they look like in this upcoming year.
All right, coming in at number 6, it's the New York Knicks, which might be a little bit too low on the list for some people.
Too kind of high for me.
Oh. Team went to
Some,
the Eastern Conference Finals last year, lost to the Pacers 4-2. New head coach Mike Brown. You fill out the bench with Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele.
Sally.
For me personally, as a Knicks fan, the biggest thing for me is at the end of the day, when you have Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns playing defense at the end of games, you could probably get away with it against a young Pistons team in the first round. But when it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals, whoever you're going to be playing, and we don't know who that's going to be. If you make it to the NBA Finals, whoever you're playing, we don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be really hard to cover that up. I'm interested to see what Mike Brown does to disguise that. I'm interested to see if there's more ball movement, but there's a lot of question marks for me as a Knicks fan for me to be confident in the sense that A, they're going to win the East, and B, that they should be higher up on these rankings. I don't think it'd be fair to the other teams that we have in front of them, even though there are changes to those teams. I feel like the Knicks changes bring more question marks than solutions. These other teams that are in front of them, it's like, okay, you addressed this issue. We don't know how this person's going to play, but you addressed this issue. With the Knicks, it's like you don't really address any issue outside of like maybe the bench got a little better. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. The bench did get
yeah,
better, but it, like you said, it comes down with what uh, Coach Brown is going to do this upcoming season defensively. Like, what's going to be the new defensive principles? Like, I know it drove you crazy when would watch them and they'll play drop against teams that were killing them in drop. As I say, like you're having a headache right now. So we're going to see what that looks like. Adding Jordan Clarkson kind of give you consistent scoring off the bench should be always a plus. We will probably see more of a bench rotation compared to the Tibbs years,
yeah.
just because Tibbs was comfortable playing like a 5-man or 6-man rotation for the course of the whole game. So we'll see what that looks like. Maybe Mike Brown will go with the double big lineup for the whole year. We don't know what it's going to look like. But like you said, there with that comes a lot of question marks. Like previous years, we kind of had an idea what they were going to do, And since the cat trade, it was like, okay, what are they gonna look like now? And now it's another move that's like more question mark. So we'll see what they look like this upcoming season. But yeah, I they're fine where we have them as. Yeah, like you said, I wanted them out the top. I'm
All right,
joking. I didn't
stop.
want them
Relax,
out the.
relax, 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 relax.
Relax. I'm joking, guys. I'm kidding. Yeah.
All right, coming in at number 5, we got the LA Clippers. I wouldn't say an under the radar offseason because I do think people are giving them their props, but it's happened slower. Like the Rockets and Nuggets, like immediately was like, oh, those teams are having a great offseason. With the Clippers, it was very slow. It's like, all right, they got Brook Lopez, cool, 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 cool. Oh, no, they got Bradley Beal about, cool, 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 cool. Oh, Chris Paul, nice, 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 nice. Oh, John Collins, okay. Like it was a very interesting offseason for the Los Angeles Clippers. They are very deep. I feel like I've read this story before. There was one year, the bubble year, I picked the Clippers to win the championship. I thought that was their year. Broke my heart. It's hard for me to trust them again. But I understand why somebody would. Very deep. I do think their additions make a lot of sense. You get John Collins at the 4. Now you can run that double big lineup with him and Brook or him and Zubac. Like you have that option there. He's somebody who can spread the floor and shoot the 3. You bring in Bradley Beal to replace Norman Powell essentially, and he's a better scorer in my opinion than Norman. I don't think he's a better defender, but he's a better scorer with the ball in his hands, even though I don't think he necessarily needs to be because Norman was fantastic last year. But you don't lose much there from the offensive standpoint. You bring in Brook Lopez to stretch the floor. To me, Brook Lopez is maybe one of, if not the best backup center in the league now. I mean, I can't really think of a backup center I would rather have. He still can put the ball in the hoop. So I think that's a great addition. And then Chris Paul, at this age, it's his last year. Shout out to Chris Paul, one of my favorite players of all time, one of my favorite point guards of all time. You have James Harden starting at point guard. You don't need Chris Paul to run the show all the time. He could be a backup. He could be somebody, if your offense is a little bit out of whack, you throw him in, and maybe he settles things down. He only has to play 10, 15, 20 minutes a game. If that adds some stability, adds direction. I really like what the Clippers have done. I think they're a little old. You're going to be going against a team like OKC if you get down there. Denver, Houston too. Houston, even though they added KD, they're still pretty young. To me, it's a really good offseason. I just have a hard time trusting them, so they're in at number 5.
Yeah, the trust factor just because of Clippers are notorious for kind of flailing out come playoff time.
Yeah.
And then also James Harden has kind of built this reputation of the same thing. The moves are on paper like they look kind of crazy because they have probably one of the deepest teams in the league overall. And if you kind of take a step back and you wonder what your starting lineup is, whatever it is, but then if for some reason you're coming up with a bench lineup of Chris Paul, Bogdan, John Collins, and Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
That's in previous years. That's a starting lineup. That's that has a chance in whatever conference.
Yeah.
So they have a very deep team. They have different type of pieces. You wonder how Ty Lue's gonna kind of make everything work. I think it comes down to if Kawhi can have another year where he stays healthy and plays as consistently well as he did. James Harden had a great year, like under the radar. It wasn't really talked about, but he can have another great year. And come playoff time, if they can just be consistent and healthy, anything can happen. But you know what? Clippers might clip, so we don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to trust, man.
Yeah.
I trusted them last year. I picked the Clippers over the Nuggets last year, and once again,
Once
look
again.
like an idiot. Thanks, James. Thanks. Coming in at number 4, we got the Houston Rockets. I think a lot of Rocket fans are going to be disappointed in this. For the record, we also reached the point in the show where I think we're listing teams that can win the championship. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
So I think Houston can win the whole thing. I think there are still some questions, right? Like KD comes in, he addresses a lot of the issues. He's somebody who I believe in. Obviously, we have him at number 4, so we do think very highly of this team and what they're going to be next year. Just got to kind of see it happen. DFS was a huge addition as well.
Yeah.
As much as I like Jalen Green's talents, I think he was somebody who was maddening for Rockets fans, and his inconsistent play put a ceiling on there. You still keep Sengun, Amin Thompson another year. I think getting Fred VanVleet for an extension was the best thing this team could have done. You do lose Dylan Brooks. I understand that sucks because I think Dylan was a good part of this team. I think Rocket fans, for the most part, liked him, but another year with Jabari Smith. A very, very deep team. To me, the talent's there, the roster's there. It's just, can you put it all together, and can the young guys evolve? So we'll see.
Yeah, like you said, the talent's there. You add KD, you're basically on a team that was what the number 2 team in the West,
Yeah.
and like
Took the Warriors 7.
took the Warriors 7, and he addresses a lot of the issues that they had throughout the course of the year. Um, they're one of the I'll say one of the 2 teams that we feel like won the offseason in terms of the moves they made.
Yeah.
DFS is a huge move. Just addresses a lot. Even adding Clint Capella like as a
No,
third
Capella's it for
big.
vibes, baby.
Nah, look, we can say that, but adding Clint Capella on a team that most of the year ran double big,
Yeah.
like with Steven Adams and Sengun, adds another piece you can throw in there in that type of lineup if they want to do it. So they have a lot of pieces, like a lot of players, a lot of pieces. Are they going to be able to put it all together? Can also the young guys, some of the young guys also take another step? Like we expect Amen to take another step.
Yeah.
Jabari also, Tari Eason, who we both love, and also can they get some consistent contributions from Reed Shepherd, who they love, like they rave about. If they can get some more scoring and like I guess backup point guard play from a Reed Shepherd, like they have a very fun team. It's another team like that we love watching and covering that we're going to cover throughout the course of the year. And like you said, we see them as a championship contender.
All right, coming in at number 3 is the team that if you were to ask me today, water gun to head, who's winning the East? I think it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. They coming in at number 3. You lose Ty Jerome, rest in peace. But you get Lonzo Ball, which I think is a great move. Personally, I think Lonzo's one of the more underrated players in the league. He's turned into a fantastic three-point shooter. He's a very good defender. He's a phenomenal passer. I love that with him coming off the bench. I think it adds more lineup versatility if they need defense at the end. I love the Lonzo Ball move for Cleveland. To me, they have the best roster in the East still. I think they're the best team in the East. I think when it comes to winning the East, I do think they have the matchups over the Knicks. They embarrassed the Knicks last year. Like, they just absolutely embarrassed them. And I know the Celtics embarrassed the Knicks too all year, and then that happened, and then the playoffs come, and then all of a sudden it was a different beast. But I do think that Cleveland poses a different problem for the Knicks, because of their high-low game, because they can beat you from the inside and the outside. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and you can put anyone in the pick and roll at any time. And it's just, I think they're a nightmare for the Knicks, and I think they're better than the Knicks. They're in at number 3 because being in the Eastern Conference, you kind of have a more direct path. I like the Cavs this year, man. It's going to be hard to get the taste of last year out of my mouth, but I could also fall back on the fact that, hey, they weren't completely healthy. They kind of got behind the 8 ball. The Pacers had a miraculous win. If you're a Cavs fan, you can kind of talk yourself into, man, we kind of had some bad luck. But they do now officially, and whether Cavs fans like to hear this or not, they do have that tag of, okay, we can't take this team seriously in the playoffs. So we're going to have to fight through that Kwab all year.
Yeah, and they made losing Ty Jerome was.
I know, it's okay.
It happened, but they made little moves that shored up their bench even more. Like adding Lonzo, who we're both fans of, and Lonzo had a good comeback year, and he provides defense, he provides shooting and playmaking.
Just gotta stay healthy.
Yeah, gotta stay healthy, and also size. He's a big guard so you can play him with Darius Garland, you can play him with Donovan Mitchell. He can guard. He's able to guard 2, 3, some 4s also in this league. They also added, I think they also added Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah,
who just getting other players other bigs that can help in terms of if Jared Allen or Mobley get in foul trouble, just to shore up the bench a little bit, gives them a little bit of a. What's the word I'm looking for? It gives them a better
ceiling.
Yeah,
versatility.
It gives them versatility and a better ceiling. I'm gonna use both the words.
There we go.
Yeah, gives them all that. So it really helps them out. I think them making the DeAndre Hunter move last year was the one where we're oh damn, that's the one. Now if they're able to stay healthy, I think you can make the case like they weren't healthy in the playoffs whatsoever, and they also faced the best team in the East at that time, which was the Pacers. The like Pacer magic happened. I'm sorry, like to everybody who played them. It is what it is. So right now, if you look at them, it feels like they should be number one in the East, regardless of whoever else you might have that you might think is coming out the East. I think it should be the Cavs right now.
All right, coming in at number 2, it's the Denver Nuggets. I think a lot of people are going to have a problem with this club, but I don't care. Love this move, the moves that they made in the offseason. Love this team. I think Jokic is still the best player in the league. You trade Michael Porter Jr., you get Cam Johnson to return. To me, that's an upgrade. You add Tim Hardaway Jr., you get back Bruce Brown. This team is now all of a sudden deeper than they were last year. I think they fit better than they did last year. Bruce comes back. I think that's going to energize the team as well. To me, man, this is a team that won 7 against the team that won the NBA championship. Aaron Gordon, wasn't healthy in Game 7. Not going to say that would be different, but again, that's how close they were to going to the Western Conference Finals, and who knows what could have happened from there. I think this team is really good. I think when you have the best player in the world in his prime, you're always going to be the favorite or close to the favorite. And right now, I think the only reason why they're not the favorite is because they didn't win the championship last year. I'm expecting huge things from the Nuggets going into next season. I think, personally, I wouldn't say they're the best team in the West, but I think the hype is real.
Yeah, the hype is definitely real. When you have Jokic, who's basically unstoppable, and you put the right pieces around him, it's gonna look like a championship contending team every year. Um, the fact that they took the Thunder to 7 when, like you said, Aaron Gordon wasn't healthy and Michael Porter Jr. wasn't healthy. I think he was playing with like one shoulder the whole time, and they were still able to take the championship team, the team that won the chip, to 7. Was very impressive. We we both thought they were going to lose against the Clippers,
Yeah.
and breeze right through that. So they've made a lot of moves this offseason. Again, that's another team where we feel like they won your offseason. Um, so adding Bruce Brown, who won a ring with them, knows how to play with Jokic, like knows how to be effective in different spots. Adding another a shooter like Cam Johnson, who is excited about being in this position, and he put up numbers last year on the Nets team, very similar numbers to Michael Porter Jr., and he was on the worst team. So his usage and his numbers is probably going to go up just getting to play with Jokic. Yeah, they're going to be a top team in the West. I feel like at at least should be a Western Conference Finals team.
Yeah.
Like I'll be shocked if they're not, just because of I'm big believer in Jokic and the talent that they have on that roster.
I am too. All right, coming in at number 1, it's the OKC Thunder. You're defending NBA champions. You signed Chet to a big deal. You signed Jalen to a big deal. Didn't really make too many moves in the offseason. Why would you? You won the championship, and you have a lot of depth there.
Yeah,
I mean, what are you going to say? One of the better defensive teams I've ever seen in my life. They're going to continue to do that. Jalen might be a year better. Chet's going to be a year better. So you're not going against the same guys you went against last year. SGA reigning MVP. There's really not much else to say about that. I will say this, though. I think that the field's closer to them than a lot of people believe. I understand that a lot of people think OKC is like this team with a future and they can win multiple championships, and I do agree with that. But I don't think it's in the sense where it was like with the Bulls, where they were so much better than everybody, or the Lakers during their dynasty, where they were so much better than everybody, or the Warriors in their dynasty, where they're so much better than everybody. I don't think OKC's there yet. I still think there's like questions where it's like, okay, like, can they generate enough offense in the half court during certain situations? Like, I think there are still kind of questions there for OKC. They are the best team in the league, but I don't think it's by such a wide margin that they are shoo-ins to win the NBA title. It wouldn't surprise me at all if, they get bounced in the Western Conference Finals this year or
yeah,
semifinals or something.
yeah. I mean, I can understand it. I can understand you saying that. They basically return the same team, but have like younger pieces that really didn't play or were injured for the course of the year that
Yeah,
they
it's ridiculous. AJ
yeah,
Mitchell, like,
like they're gonna have they're gonna, like you said, AJ Mitchell, that's gonna have a bigger role next season.
yeah,
AJ Mitchell, was it Nikola
yeah,
Topic? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. He had a solid summer league, and he was drafted last year, but basically injured the whole year, so he didn't play. And it's gonna be another year where we watch the Thunder and they're gonna blow out teams, and some random guy's gonna come off the bench and put up 20 against your favorite team. You're gonna be angry. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Your defense travels. Like your defensive intensity is never gonna change because you have so many pieces that know how to guard. Basically, securing your big three to long-term contracts was impressive, and the fact that they are not gonna get hit by the apron like all these other teams are just because they have it the way they have it structured. It's amazing. Yeah, but like you said, they still have some questions here and there, but I think always like winning a championship kind of takes a little bit of pressure off your back.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams, you can tell when they come back after winning a championship, they have more belief in themselves and they know who they are. So they
Yeah.
come out like, okay, this is who we are. This is what we're gonna do. We saw it. We saw it last year with the Celtics when the Celtics started out the year. We're just like, okay, that's not fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a great year, I think, in the Western Conference, just because there's a lot of tough teams. The Thunder to me are the best team in the West.
Yeah.
But like you said, a lot of teams are. It feels a little more closer now with how much better the Nuggets and the Rockets have gotten. But the Thunder are the best team in the West and in the league overall.
Yeah, it's still the best team in the league, still NBA champions. Don't take my comments for me being disrespectful, but I just think it's a lot closer than some people might say it is. All right, listen, that's going to do it. That's our contender power rankings in the offseason so far. If there are moves to be made, if anything changes, any large changes, we might update them. We'll see. Who knows? Stay tuned for more content. Kwab and I will have a full episode soon. Going to be doing team previews as well, so look out for that. Make sure you subscribe, baby.
Yeah,
let's do the damn thing. We plan on going live more often than not this season as well, so stay tuned for that. I'm Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_. He's Kwab at Kwab at KAS. We are the Dime at the Dime NBA. We'll see you next time for another power ranking edition of the Dime. Peace.